Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. The Stocky Man Game. You know what's funny? I'm gonna tell you the truth, and this is something I've always said, right? You know, you have in the media and even on social media the type of guys that supposedly get the most women, right? It's supposedly like, that 6'3" guy or 6'2", whatever, so-called alpha male type of guy, handsome, muscular, all of that, got some money. That's supposed to be what get the type of man, the archetype of the man who gets the most women, right? And, even, women play into it as well because, when they have their list, what they talk about, well, he got to be 6'2", he got to be muscular, he got to be handsome, stylish dresser, and that's a universal thing. It's like the ideal, right? But it's funny in real life, though, those ain't the guys who get the most. Right? And now I've already talked about like just average looking men getting the most, but most people gonna take the looks part as being just the face. But honestly, and this is a lot of people have pointed this out in my comments, and I gotta really agree with them and stuff. What I'm about to say, it be those stocky type of men who be getting theirs, man, be tearing up. Yeah, women say, oh yeah, he gotta be 6'2" and stuff. But if you like really peep the guys who get into play, like a lot of play, a whole lot of play. If you want to stereotype them body wise, the guys, like I've known them, I've seen them, I've seen the women. They some stocky dudes. They even like super muscular or something, right? Be like, solid. Maybe not having a six pack or anything. Maybe not even having like some gut hanging out or anything like that. They just stocky. They built solid. And it's the funniest. It's the fun. Well, it's not funny, but it's the most interesting thing. Cause the guys be tearing up. Cause like I said, I ain't basing this off of what people are saying. I'm actually watching people, and I'm paying attention to the women. And I've seen the guys, I've seen women fight over like some of these stocky dudes and stuff, right? Then that like tall dude, that ideal dude walk by and they ain't even looking at him and stuff, even though later on they'll say, well, I want a guy who's 6'2", all that stuff, right? And you know what? There's actually a deeper reason for that, but man, it'd be hard to explain. But one of the things, right, to understand, women do have like that choice. Women do have a preference, right? And they have it's like they have an ideal and then what they actually go for. For whatever reason, they say that tall, that 6'2" guy and everything is like the preference, right? The tall, probably more of a slim, muscular dude, right? They say that's the preference, right? But, there's only 3% of them, right? And women, they got to get theirs. They got to get theirs. So they get that, like, dude, that solid dude who, he might not be 6'2", he might be 5'10" or something. I've seen some even shorter. Be throwing women over couches and whatnot. Be tearing them up. Those guys be winning like a champ. Not to say all of them, and of course you gonna get some guys who are tall, who are slim, or even some who are shorter and slim gonna get theirs. But this is just from what I've seen. This is, like I said, I don't speculate. From guys I know who had multiple women, right? I even seen an article in, I think it was Ebony Magazine. It was a bunch of brothers talking. One of them said, yeah, he had been with like 18 women that past year or something like that, right? But he was like he was solid. He was a stocky dude, He looked to be maybe about a good 6 feet at least, right? But he was a stocky dude. I wasn't surprised. Seriously, I've just known some stocky dudes. That just get women, because sometimes people might think those type of dudes just getting like some like some ugly women or some, well, I'll say unfortunate looking women who might be out of shape and everything, but they be getting some badass women. I knew this one dude, if you look at him and stuff, that dude looked distinctly non-distinct, but I knew three of the women he got with, right? I knew three of the women he got with. Shit, they told me. Damn that shit, I was like, dang. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you what it is, really, right? A lot of times, even though women might say, oh yeah, they want that muscular dude and stuff, right? Then they, the really cut up dude, and some do. A lot of times, a woman can feel intimidated if her body's less than perfect, right? Even some women who got a pretty decent body, right? So sometimes, and it's that old thing, a woman don't want to be around somebody who look better than she do. Right? So just like a woman facially don't want to be around like a finer, a guy who's like, shall we say, prettier or, would draw more attention than she would. Physically, they want a guy they feel comfortable with, right? So, they'll feel a little bit more comfortable with a guy who might not have like those tight 6-pack abs and stuff, but, still decent body, still decent stomachs. It's still his chest pops out more than his stomach. Also, too, those type of guys, a stocky guy, look like he can physically dominate a woman. I mean, he actually looks like it, right? And that's a big thing with women. No matter how much trash they talk, they really get off sexually if it's an act of submission. They basically want a man to dominate them. I actually got in an argument with this dude, right? Because he was that type who was like real submissive to like all the women. Couldn't figure out why they weren't trying to have sex with him. I said, well, dude, you gotta be that type to dominate them in the bedroom, right? And just on a practical level, I've met a lot of fine and sexy women. They like that. See, one thing though, a lot of times, like I got mostly American black men watching this channel and listening to these videos, right? But you gotta understand just what American black women like. The rest of the world don't necessarily share that. In many parts of the world, you need to look a little healthier. They prefer it. They actually prefer it. Not saying they prefer like someone like fat or anything, but they prefer somebody with some meat on their bones. Even some American women, because I've actually seen both sides of that. Because I remember back in the day when, Rom's body was real tight, because I was working out like crap. I was like running and doing body weight exercises and everything. Had that kind of model build, right? And I was definitely getting some play behind it. And let's not get it twisted. If you got a tight body, 6-pack abs, slim but muscular type, oh, trust me, if you can do that, keep doing it, But I'm just saying, though, a lot of these stocky men, they be getting more. Because, back then I was working out hard, but then, that's hard to maintain and stuff. So, I was still working out, but not running as much and all of that, put on, start doing some like heavier lifting and put on some weight and everything, right? But, still kept it tight. Shoot. I was getting better quality women. I thought I was getting women at first. I was actually getting better quality women. In fact, one told me, it's like, hey, you look better with that weight. And I've had guys tell me, though, they'll say they lost a little bit of weight, and then women look at them like, hey, nah, hold up, baby. Hold up, baby. The women be trying to feed them and whatnot, right? And I've seen this in gyms, like the guys who getting the women, like the guys who would getting the players. Yeah, the slim ones would get, attention, the tall ones, but it was like the stocky dudes, the dudes throwing up about 400 pounds and stuff, look like, they only a month's away from training to be in some like contest or something. And I've seen that a lot. And it's something to think about, and I'm just throwing it out there. One thing to throw out there about that, and this is for everybody regardless of your body build, you never know. Sometimes when you hear or see what women say publicly about what their ideal man is, you just like nod your head, especially if you're not that particular, you just nod your head like, okay. Because trust me, ask yourselves this, how is it like some guys who aren't 6'3", who, don't have a lot of money and stuff, how they be having about 15 kids or a bunch of kids or some woman on their arm or something? Ask yourselves that, because I know some badass women. You look at the guys they with, it always surprises you, because you look at them and think, oh yeah, they'll get that ideal guy, but then they'll just get some guy, average looking, got a little bit of weight on him and stuff, but keep it tight. And I've known several women like that personally. I've known them personally. Like, they be going crazy over like that stocky dude. Shit, I've had some women know me. It's like I started losing too much weight, and like boom. And then, even then, you know what I found too with a lot of women, even some who say they want that ideal man, like they'll tell you, and these women have told me, oh yeah, that guy need to lose some weight or something. They'll say that, but then they'll come back to you and say the guy they had sex with and turned them out, that got them crying, got them turned out and stuff, is some stocky dude. So, you know what, man? Here's the takeaway from it. Take whatever women say publicly with a grain of salt. 2, regardless of where you at, just maximize what you have. Maximize what you have body wise, because the reality is everybody can get it out here. Because when I talk about select, non-select, that's really just a mindset thing. A lot of dudes like think themselves out of being select because they feel like, they ain't like tall, or they don't think of themselves as handsome, all of that. But a lot of times, I'm gonna tell you what, everybody got something out there that some woman is going to want, right? And you know what, let me just drop a real quick tidbit about some of the stocky guys, because it is something there, but I would have to get into something called the Bagua to explain it fully. But basically, what you have is a guy with a decent, his body's still decent, still symmetrical and stuff. It's just got some meat on it, right? On one level, women find that pleasing. On one level, they feel like that man can protect them. On another level, that man actually looks healthy. That's a key thing. Women, on a deep level, they look for that healthy looking man. That's why if a man is stocky, but you know what, he can keep his stomach like relatively flat, and he still got that kind of V shape and stuff. Oh yeah, women, they lose their mind. That's like some deep DNA thing. Also too, a lot of stocky guys, even a lot of bigger guys, right, tend to be able to deal with women, tend to be more gregarious. They can connect with a woman on an emotional level, because they got, if you're a big guy, a lot of big guys can like tolerate a lot. And, and that's what the key is. So, the woman's liking the body on a deep level, and then the man can also talk to her. He can connect to her, and that drives the woman crazy. Now, yeah, I know, like I said, they come up and they'll say, oh, I need this and that, and I just say, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. And then, you know what, you got them ass up like a half an hour later. And they'll tell you straight up, oh, well, you're not my type. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, right. And this is one thing I always say, pay attention to what y'all see in the streets. Seriously. Don't go by what they telling you, go by what you see, all right? And see everything. Anyway, that's it for this one. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.